Got a chance to listen to Ice Cube's Man Down album. What a day it was in a way. Old school, new school. At Cube, Kendrick Lamar dropped albums. I talked about the Kendrick record, which I thought was pretty good. And I'd say this one was pretty good too. I think a bit long. I mean, listen, if Cube had a never gone into movies and changed up, and went Hollywood, and ain't no wrong with it. But after Friday blew up and everything, his life was never gonna be the same. I mean, he still had that edge after Boys in the Hood, but after and Higher Learning. But after he did Friday, had that never happened, albums like this probably would have probably he would have definitely been either stayed big or been on the underground tip. Hip hop had changed, even the West Coast had changed. But I'd say if you cut this album in half, made it into two records, you probably get one good song record. He got a few cuts on here that I think uh interesting use of Marvin Gaye on "See Sanctified." Got Snoop on there. E40's on the record. Uh, I think that "Fight for My Life" was a cut. I really like that groove. That he got a lot of '80s vibe on here. Takes you back to that early '80s sound. Interesting. That's what Kendrick's record had too. So they definitely was vibing on that West Coast OG, that especially that '80s that sound of back in the day that was real prominent in hip hop. You know, uh, I want to say the Jonas Crew. Like if you listen to that 808, the way that synth used to go back then. But my cut was probably so sensitive. I really liked how that one grooved on here. I like that one. He actually got a song called "Not Like Us," and it's a lot like Kendrick's, but it's not the same. Um, he talks about how I think he's been feeling that he's been disrespected when people have the all-time polls and they don't talk about Cube. Cube is one of the 3 to 5 greatest rappers, I think, personally. And I know it ain't popular to say, but I got him over Pac and Biggie. I mean, especially Jerry Curl, Ice Cube. Come on now, you had that texturizer cube back then. You know, for his pen game, his lyrical flow from '88 to '93, he could do no wrong. And '88 through '92, his window was breezing with Activator. You just couldn't even phase him. So he was definitely bringing. The other cut I like Three Little Piggies because I like how he flowed on it. He tried different sounds. Some things he tried to modernize. Some things work, some don't. That's what happened when you got long-winded records. And I don't think no one goes to 19 tracks no more. 18 people, I still think the old way, most times people can get away with a tenor, 12 songs tops. Because, most artists don't get paid past song 9 anyway. But anyway, that's the old school method. But, um, it says a lot that, hey, he just dropped it. Ego was the big cut that he was talking about. He sampled Al Green on that one, and even had the preacher perm up there would crack me up in the video. Him and Mike Epps. But Cube, one thing about him, you know the lyrical flow, the humor, the cadence. That cat has always been a scientist about what he says. So, you know, um, as far as veteran albums go, and I have to say this because let's be realistic. No one is gonna buy you being a hard banger from the West Side when you've been more people know you for your film career. Buddy of mine's son, as a matter of fact, only knows Cube as Craig from Friday. He didn't get it. He didn't. By the time his existence kicked in, as far as being aware of music, and he was trying to think, he was born in '87. So by the time he became aware of Cube, West Side Connection was out. He didn't get to catch none of the prime time peak Cube. So there's a lot of generation that only saw him mainly from either West Side Connection or saw him through Players Club or Fridays and onward. So they didn't even really catch his what he did on the pen game. But for the ones in the know, they know Cube was one of the more lethal ones back then. So this rocket, it's cool. No, it's not gonna be on par with his peak and his prime. But I'll say this: it's better than a lot of stuff that he did do because a lot of stuff was cliche and he was just going through motions. But this time, I think he had something to say. I think he was partially inspired by Kendrick a bit too, and I also think that when people talk about the top greats of the greats, why his name doesn't come up more. Because that's a travesty when you think about it. This guy fronted 2 successful groups and had an incredible solo career and a pen game to match. And just because he blew up in Hollywood and has had franchises and been able to sell hood films to blow up, don't take away from the fact that he's one of the best MCs to ever do it. So anyway, that's my thoughts and takes about Ice Cube's Man Down. It's a decent record. And before anybody asks me, um, I like it about as much as I did Kendrick's. I like some stuff. They both had a nod to the 80s. It's interesting. It's almost like their father and son in a way, except I'm going to say this. I like Kendrick, but he doesn't match the intensity that Cube did. Cube just had, that's the thing right there. I can say Kendrick makes a better album, obviously, right now than Cube, but I can't say he matches what Cube did in Cube's peak and prime, because I think the competition made people step their game up, and also there was a lot more barriers to cross and to do. So that's the only knock, and it's not really Kendrick's fault. It's just that the hip hop game is so weak sauce now. When you got turkeys battling, talking about him and Drake and J. Cole and some of his cats who aren't bad for what they do, but there ain't no competition like back in the day. It just, the best brings out the best in another one, and you got to have some kind of rival or something to really bring those juices to flow. So Cube's album was cool. I mean, it had some moments. There's some things that you'll definitely bop to. I did like that So Sensitive, and I do like the alpha male aspect that he talks about, because agendas going around, you see how things is going down. So that part I will give him his dap on for that. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another shitter if you like. Hit that membership, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.